shine. Don't shine. Wait on me, well now. Might not won't show when I go free. Oh, might not won't show when I go free. Well now. Don't notice. Oh, Lord, yeah. Oh, Lord, bird, oh, Lord, yeah. Raise them up, I don't let them drop on down. Oh, raise them up, I don't let them drop on down. Well, now, I'm on old Watchman, got time. Work on me, oh, I'm on old Watchman, got time. Work on me, well, now. Oh, I've heard of, oh, Lord, yeah, oh, I've heard of, oh, Lord, yeah, well, now, when you down now, falling down, oh, every day, someday, oh, in your hands, well, now, when you marry now, railroad man, oh, every day, someday, now, in your hands, well, now, Lord, I've heard of you, oh, Lord, yeah, oh, Albert.
Good day and gratitude, family. I know I said I wasn't going to come back, but I was going to rest tonight, but I'm up. So, why not? What else? What else is there to do? When you up and you have the time, but why not? Yeah, yeah. So this is Face the Nation on Bolden Unchained, and we are here to assist Black America and Black media in the uncovering and the condemning of the many agendas, events, operations, projects, compromises, acts, bills, laws, codes, compromises. What else is there? Studies. There's so many targets against Black America. You really have to focus to remember all of them, to remember everything. I mean, it's almost as if the very energy of life itself it's got to be about Black America. We're the chain. We're the chain that makes everything run, makes everything even move. I mean, it is what it is. We as a people have to start, just paying attention, knowing what's going on. We've been steered too long. Everybody been steering us. It's allegedly 2025. And look at us. We so shook up. We scared to even build together. We see us building. We see us building a little bit here, a little bit there. We are. But I think, to me, I feel like, we know what's going to happen with white America. What a white America going to feel when we really get to building and being for us. See, like Dr. Joy DeGraw was saying, it's okay to do so much. It's okay to do so much. Just don't do too much. And we know we've never held white America accountable. We ain't never even asked that white woman, about all of this stuff, the stuff Dr. Joy said in the video, and she's the professor. Let's get this out the way. Copyright disclaimer under 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. We ain't never even confronted that white woman about all of the hell the black man, the black woman, and the black child. Because remember, Dr. Joy said they made a law because somebody was beating the kids, beating black kids. It was the white women. They made a law that said if you kill them because you beat them that much, it's okay because it was just an accident. You were just punishing them. We, especially us, Black America, we sit here and we act like it's okay. It's okay that everybody in the world got this mentality right here. That everybody got this mentality. We know who the hell everybody hate. When everybody, just like the draft, and is it this book or the other book? White America, everybody was in the depression. Everybody was going through. Everybody was hurting, didn't have no money, didn't have no food, was cold. It affected everybody. There's something about the draft. But anyway, the problem is the draft. That's what everybody upset about, the draft. White folks upset about the draft. We talking about white folks here with this because this is what happened with them. Don't you know white folks literally took their focus completely off of what the problem was, which was the draft, and honey, looked right at black people and started attacking black folks. See, because we ain't never, y'all asses, Black America, y'all that's done made it, y'all so successful, y'all ain't never made white America answer for this. Y'all ain't never, whether the healing was coming from white America or from us, y'all ain't never ensured that Black America got some healing, some type of therapy. Now, Dr. Joy DeGraw, her video been out for a long time. I'm just finding it because I ain't known all that. I ain't been here. The bulk of black people, we don't know all of this. And see, now it's awakening happening. It's about out of our control now because we too traumatized. We can't do nothing but a little bit. Maybe build on the outside, which it look like that's all we doing. It's building on the outside. Because to get in the thick of the middle, we got to find out, hell, why we so against each other. And I'm going to tell you this, Black America, because I didn't know either. But it's something too, when you remember generational trauma. I think that's how they characterized it. That's how they said it. I don't know. But what happened to our ancestors? It's in us, innately. I-N-N-A-T-E-L-Y, innately. This fear that we have of white America. We ain't gonna never unite and build together because we know what white America does when we dominate being together. See, y'all already on that bullshit and you already ready to excuse it. Ready to blame Black America. You ready to blame Black America for this being the root cause of our self-hate. Let's just forget all about this. We ain't even gonna talk about this no more. We're gonna jump to everything else. and try to fix that. But when that fails, then beat up on Black America some more. You just won't never do right. Y'all can't never come together without addressing the root of why we so fucked up. I'm about sick of all of y'all motherfuckers sacrificing us because you're scared. It's right here in the books. They wrote the books. We still got to be here together. What is Black America so afraid of? What are we so afraid of now? Being without white America? What, the job? We supposed to be our own bosses anyway, ain't we? What are we so afraid of? Having to raise our babies and teach them? What, we rather send them to school? Because it is not making sense to me. All of y'all done succeeded. You got, and I'm not talking about with degrees and in houses and stuff, but you seem to be knowledgeable. You seem to be intelligent, some critical thinkers. I mean, shit, y'all ass made it through the education. You got the knowledge. You got the intelligence. Hell, you got the money, the funds, you set up. You can help your people. But you're scared of this. We scared. We scared of this. Knowing damn well white America will turn on our motherfucking asses again like it's doing that. Ain't never stopped. Why y'all trying to make us think white America done stop lynching black men? Why y'all trying to make us think that everything that's against us, school to prison pipeline, the wrongful conviction, just grabbing black men, driving while black, everything, whatever you can think of. Y'all know. Y'all ought to be telling us. But now everybody's scared. Everybody don't talk about that. It's already been out for decades. We already done discussed it. Discuss what? It's supposed to be enough that we can say we survived it. We still here. That's supposed to be enough. Is that supposed to be enough to heal the hurt and the trauma that's been done to our people? Now, I know y'all understand what those professors, our scholars, experts, scientists, anthropologists, we got them all. They brilliant as hell. It ain't a motherfucker right here that can stand up to Dr. John Henry Clark when he was teaching. All of them had that brilliance because it comes from the cosmos. It's not some man-made shit that you got to work with and figure it out. It came to them because it was divine for us. But we so scared. I know we done built homes, families, businesses, empires with these people. I know that. That's why I'm kind of pissed off about it. How the fuck long was they gonna sit here and play us for the fucking food? How long? We got to be the food and the dummy? We were the fool to let them teach our kids. Malcolm said that. Didn't nobody get mad at him, just kept on sending the kids to the schools and stuff. We did. Now y'all want us to be a dummy too. Be a dummy too. Just trust everything. This ain't even none of the problem. This is not none of the problem, face. You can put that down, face the nation. This is not our problem right here. Our problem is being selfish. Our problem is being greedy and into our own self. Our problem is being motherfucking traumatized. We so fucking traumatized, we scared to build anything. We is scared to build anything with each other. Yeah, you might build a little here and a little there and a little there and a little there. But we know we better not get together and build no Black Wall Street again. We scared. Black America is traumatized. We so fucking scared. We can't even. We want to. We ready. We ready. We know all the genius creativity we got in us. We know we can do it overnight. But we also know every time we do it, every time we try to unite and heal us. See, because this right here ain't got no closure. We ain't got no closure from this. Y'all been lying. Everybody been lying about this. We ain't had no closure from this. We ain't even had no closure from that. Man, cause y'all scared. Everybody ought to be reading this. Hell, white folks ought to be reading this. They ass ought to be for all the love. For all the love. Man, I knew it. That's why I said show yourself. Yeah, I stay by myself. I'll be the only one on our ancestors' side, because y'all don't nobody care about our ancestors. Y'all don't give a damn what was done to them. Yeah, it's too late. We're not talking about that no more. We building. Building what? It ain't no Black Wall Street. That's like, see, we done trapped ourselves in with these people right here. That's like being in with, a whole bunch of wolves. The sheep is. And she knows she ain't finna, bad too much. Maybe a little bit, but not too much. She trying to keep the peace too, because she don't want to get her ass ate up. Instead of going on with the rest of them, she want to hang around with the wolves and stuff, want to linger when she seen them walking on the field. Seen them walking out there in the wilderness. All the other sheep took off. She want to linger. I don't know how they did it. Maybe they surrounded her and everybody moved just a little bit till they backed her ass up, and before she knew it, she in a cave somewhere. And she just like, I'm just going to stay here and, make the best of it and keep the peace. That's how Black America is. Want to stay. Just want to stay with white folks. Stay around white folks. Afraid. We traumatized. We so traumatized, we don't even know where to begin, what to do. And I don't know either. Because y'all asses, the one that's done mingled, married, just done intertwined your whole life. Your arms started growing together with your interracial spouse. So I don't know how you're going to work it out. But I know one thing, Black America, you got to make a decision. And I don't know what your decision going to be. I don't know how you going to make it. But you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. And all your fear, for all they love, and all your fear, you got to make a decision, Black America. Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Because Black America, we need to be on our side. If you don't know whose side you're on, then you need to be over here. Go on over here with them, because we don't want you with us if you don't know whose side you're on. Gathering information. Seeing what the plan is. We ain't doing nothing. We just looking out for us. That's it. Like everybody else done did. See, everybody else done already did everything that we talking about. Everybody else have achieved everything that we talking about. Because, see, we've been doing everything else. Following everybody else. Yeah, they give us this trend and then they take 3 of ours. I couldn't believe it when it just dawned on me. Dang, it's happening already? But maybe it's already been happening. I don't know. Hell, I thought Black America was ready too. I was like, yeah, I know I'm late. I know I'm late to the fight. But I'm here. And shit, honey, it just dawned on me, Black America. We ain't finna confront them white folks about what they did to us. We just finna hope and pray, build together, hope and pray that they don't never do it again. When we just read in the book that any situation, traumatic situation, if the situation is right, the circumstances is right, that history can repeat itself. Now, I know some of us, we didn't get a whole lot of education and stuff, namely me. I'm going to let you know right off the bat. I know all of y'all know this shit. Hell, Tennessee didn't teach us a damn thing. So I know y'all know. But to get, and I ain't judging you, I know you were put to sleep. You got comfortable, you probably thought Black America was okay too. I don't know. Maybe your initial reaction was like mine is now. Because see, in my opinion, when everybody that don't know, when they find out, they're going to go through these emotions. Who wouldn't? Who can be stoic, uncaring, unbothered, it don't touch me at all to read this right here. These are our Jesuses right here, y'all. These is Black people Jesuses right here. John Hartfield, what they did to that man in real life. Jesse Washington. 1988, James Byrd. Oh, but they only drug him through the town. Oh, they just drug him like 6 or 7 miles on the back of their truck till his whole body just, after, going on the gravel and turning the curves and stuff like that. And he on the chain, they dragging him, his body just falling off because they dragging him. And that's the least of what they did to James Byrd in Jasper, Texas. It's a movie on Netflix. John Hartfield, it wasn't no protection. It wasn't no go a little bit. Don't do everything. They went to the limit. But Black America, Black men. I know it's some Black women. Oh, yeah, I done seen Black men and Black women, yeah, already. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we ain't finna talk about that, Face. We not finna do that. We not finna do that. No, you not finna do this. So, yeah, it's probably time to move around. Uh-huh. Yeah, because you won't be moving here. Yeah, this is what we talking about right here. Come back later. We gonna get through this. Yeah, we don't know where we gonna be at the end of this. Because the way I feel right now, and it's some more books. Oh, we not stopping with these books. The lynching in Duluth. It's a whole lot of books on this. We aim to heal Black America. I don't know what y'all planning on doing. Don't nobody want to heal Black America. Just want to go straight to building. Don't even take on no bath. Just put your clothes on. Go on out the door. It don't make sense to me. Except for the traumatizing. We so traumatized, we afraid, we know. What Dr. Francis Chris Wells said about that baby. That baby said, I'm not helping black people. Because when you help Black people, they kill you. Black America. That's why we scared. We can't come together. We will never come together and unite until we heal ourselves. No? And you see now, everybody just begging, Black people, please don't leave us. We need y'all. We see what y'all talking about. Now, we finna see what y'all did. Because, see, I don't know. And people like me don't know. But we need to. You can't keep hidden. You can't keep something like this hidden forever and ever. Just because the victim, just because these people is able to live, you know, we able to live if we ain't, you know, done killed each other. It's like people like, it's all right for Black America to have this trauma. They still can find happiness. Yeah, well, I'm happy. I am happy. I tell you that, okay? And now I know when you're grateful, you make yourself 25% happier. You don't even need somebody else to make you happy. You make yourself happy. Black America. All that we have left, all that we got left to us, everything that was built up was built by us. What the cosmos left us gave us. What they left us. Hell, even though everybody got it, you know. Everybody got all our blueprints, the models, the rough drafts, the plans, strategies that we supposed to have so we can take care of our own communities. We'll be able to have our own gardens and schools, but we too hurt. We so hurt, you know. And white America, white women and white men, since y'all keeping this hid so long, I'm like Dr. Joy DeGraw. How long was y'all gonna keep this hidden? How long y'all gonna keep this secret from us? And y'all that knew about this and stuff, fine, you knew it. Fine. Don't speak for the rest of us. And let us get through our grief about it. How we gonna get through it? Because see, can't nobody tell me how to feel. You cannot tell me how to feel when I read about all the slaughters. And then y'all make us think, oh, y'all fucked up. Black people is so fucked up. Oh, that's their culture. That's how they act. They ain't gonna never get right. You probably need to put them back in chains. Somebody re-proposed slavery. Like it just happened. We just like that. Oh, they just fucked up out of the blue. Just fucked up for no reason at all. I couldn't believe it, honey. I knew it was coming, but I was like, dang, ancestors for real? And I was like, shit, yeah, I might as well get online and whoa, let it be known that, yeah, we about our ancestors here. I don't care who ain't. I know we are. Yeah, we want to hold everybody accountable, but the white woman and the white man. Yeah, hold everybody accountable for what you have done, and then gonna try to act like we supposed to survive, build together, build a new Wall Street, Black Wall Street, and all this hurt. What we gonna do? Build it for half of our people? It ain't even half of our people that's, you know, more than half of our people don't know. So what you gonna do? Build it for what? 25% of our people? The other 75% of our people just lost out here. We have no idea. You know, we. What about all of our people? Wow. Everybody sitting there acting like Black America. Blaming Black America. That's what y'all doing. Literally blaming Black America for being enslaved, for all of this. I'm glad I still got this right here. Remember we looked at Dr. Joy DeGraw today. Look, y'all blaming Black America for all of this. Wow. Because you're scared. Tell white America y'all motherfuckers ain't sincere. You ain't never been sincere with us. Yeah, all of y'all done turned y'all back on the ancestors, and hell, we ain't really even got started yet. Y'all, I guess some of us already undecided whose side we on, huh? Wow, well, let's read tonight. Right? Ooh. Go get your drink. Let me go get mine too. Cause I was like, oh, for real? Ain't that some shit? For all the hold accountable. Everybody in America get held accountable. But the white woman and the white man. Everybody. Everybody. Dang. Mm, mm, mm. Motherfuckers. Then want to blame Black America. Ooh, I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or cut y'all ass out. Oh, wow. You want to blame Black America. I don't know why it ain't like, nobody said who had to confront, white America. Shit, hell, they been confronting them. I mean, condemning them, bringing it out in the open and talking about it. Everybody talking about it, but white America ain't answering for it. The only white America that's really talking about this is the scholars, the professors, the scientists. They the only ones talking about what the hell white America done did to Black America. And Black America, y'all trying to excuse it again. Black America, y'all trying to excuse it again because you feel like, yeah, we've been in this too long. We've been together for decades now. We passed all that. No, we ain't. No, we ain't. We ain't passed all this right here. Y'all ass was just scared to face this right here. After all of that trauma and it calmed down and stuff, after white America had terrorized us and shit, and then stuff calmed down, and then they act like, oh shit, we ain't done nothing. We ain't done nothing. We all right. We gonna stop. We gonna stop. Then Black America like, all right, it's over. It's over. As long as they don't come back over here with that shit no more. And that was it. Everybody slowly started building. White folks started building up again. Well, a little bit they lost. Black folks moved and built up again because they lost everything. We lost everything. Everything was gone. But we rebuilt every time. And just act like none of it happened. None of it happened. Mm-mm. Through the years and stuff, it come up, we protest, and we fight back against this issue and that issue and this issue and that issue. And things seem like they're getting better with them issues, but they never do. For all of the inclusion, they never do. And in my opinion, they never will. I don't care what we say, how much we try to stay involved and keep the peace, and we say we want to, unite as a people. But then we so afraid to, to get through this, to even get to this hurt. We too afraid to even get to this hurt right here. We want us to, go around it and heal ourselves as a people. So we can come together, so we can stay together. But we can't do that. We cannot do it right now. Don't act like, and all y'all intelligence and education, y'all didn't know. Because, see, that's when y'all playing on our intelligence. Because we truly didn't know. It's their culture. What happened to it? It just magically disappeared? That we feel like we can let it go? We can leave it alone? We can not talk about it no more. Just keep building. Keep your eyes shut. Don't even talk about it. Don't you bring up John Harford. Don't you bring up Jesse Washington, Joe Ruffin, his two sons that white folks took their bodies and just slung their bodies in the fire just like they did the baby. Just like they did that baby. We read about it in this book. Picked that baby up by the leg and just slung his body in the burning house. They didn't even find the baby's body the next day. But Black America just don't talk about it no. Just leave it alone, face. Don't nobody never tell them to don't talk about it. Don't nobody ever tell anybody else to not talk about their Holocaust. How long is it going to take us to heal from our Holocaust if we don't talk about it? If we don't talk about it, not just with us, but see, because white America, see, as long as we don't face this with white America, they motherfucking ass already know. We got to jump on them anyway. Anytime you can do this right here to a person, a whole people. All y'all ass got drapetomania. That's what it is. All y'all asses got drapetomania. No, I think I was wrong. Y'all asses got something. Because you're scared to confront what PTSD, post-traumatic slave disorder. What is it? Tell me what it is. This right here, we're afraid to bring this to the forefront. This everything. This ain't even everything. This right here is just some of the stuff. Y'all, let me read this off right here. Because let me turn on my iPad because I'm just like, Black America, it don't make no sense to me. What is this? It's got to be a name for it, for being afraid. And y'all know now it's been 406 years of trauma because we still being traumatized. You might not be. Black people are still being traumatized, lynched. There was 246 years of slavery, physical slavery. Yeah. 246 years of slavery. Somebody keeping you in chains. In the metal muzzle, the metal mask. They kept Frederick Douglass in that metal mask for months. So many of our ancestors. Metal mask for 100 years. They kept them in their mask for 100 years to break their language. To keep them from singing spiritual songs. Because we love music. We created music. Matter of fact, when the cosmos manifested the Black woman, it was a sound. Ding. It was a sound. I don't know what sound it was because that sound will help break the curse that we are under today. But yeah, 246 years of physical slavery. I didn't know. No, honey, I didn't know the crux of this. 100, and then once we got free, y'all, physical slavery was from 1619 to 1865. Y'all, for 155 years after we was free, white folks tortured the fuck out of us. That's when they did all of this for 155 years. So Black America, you mean to tell me you really think, you really feel like making us feel like, we can't come together. Y'all ain't gonna never be nothing. You can't even come together. We can't come together. Why can't we never think about each other, want to build together and stuff? 155 years. This was after slavery. After slavery, 155 years of Jim Crow. Hell, no wonder it was so many Ku Klux Klan subgroups. There was the Ku Klux Klan, there was the Ghost Rider, the Pilots, the Ball Snappers, or something like that. Just and when I had wrote this down right here, it was some years ago. And it was actually 401 years, but now it's 2025 allegedly. So that was like 406 years. Because we still being traumatized. Yeah. I wonder, I don't know. I guess it's satiating the crave because everybody's doing it. Everybody is, everybody is targeting some type of aggression and angst at Black people. So I guess that helps refrain, white America from, flipping off, I guess, whatever you want to call it that they go through. I don't know. I just know this right here, honey. Only big brains. Only big brains would even want to think about this, would even want to try to figure it out. Find some closure to it. What is all this leading to? What does it mean for Black America? Who is it? Another people in America that been through this right here? And I'm just talking about just America. Because I know all over the world, Black people is hated and castrated and stuff. I ain't been too long learned about Leopold. That man cut off Black people's wrists in the Congo. He was just cutting people's wrists off if they didn't work enough and make enough, whatever they was working. I guess they was in the mines, getting the mineral for these phones and shit. I can't wait to do a video where y'all see me throw all my phones and shit in the trash once I get all my pictures and stuff off of them, if there's a way. But yeah, I can't wait for y'all to see me throw away a whole bunch of technical shit. So I wish I had a smart TV. Y'all see me throw that motherfucker away. So who throw away an old smart TV? Cause we don't need all of that shit. Get your one TV and that's it. Yeah, y'all gonna see me kicking Alexa ass. I'm gonna get Alexa. Y'all gonna see me kicking that motherfucker down the hallway, down the street, down the sideway, just kicking Alexa. Kicking motherfucking Alexa. Then there was segregation, lynching, murdering, burning, terrorizing, convict leasing, peonage, peonage, economic exclusion, predatory leasing, medical experimentation. That right there remind me of Loud Station. I don't know if you heard about Loud Station. I told about it once before on one of them videos about the our babies, the black kids in school. And was it in Indiana, I think? Indiana, I think. And the black kids were 5 and 6 years old, probably in first grade. And the white people went and told the parents that they babies had ringworms and they had to treat them. And the parents, oh yes, just treat my baby, get rid of the ringworm. And the motherfuckers was experimenting on them babies with radiation. Experimenting on babies 5 years old, 6 years old with radiation. I didn't ever do much research on this stuff except for Verdius Hardiman, because he lived to be an elderly man. Some of y'all probably heard about it. He lived to be an elderly man. I didn't look to see if he had a family and stuff like that. But I know as far as that right there, he lived his whole life. He was a church man. He was really religious in the church his whole life, because he was a miracle. And church then was on our side. Churches now here, they ain't on our side. Stop lying. Churches is not on our side. And you better get all your money back. Y'all better get all this money you've been tithing. You better go tell pastor to give you your money back before everybody realize that churches ain't about shit today. And they go get their money back, and then churches ain't even gonna have money no more, because it's gonna be a whole new world order and stuff, and yeah, so do with it what you may. Don't be mad at me. I can't be politically correct here, because we need to crash that motherfucking bird. Talking about Democrat, Republican. Crash the whole motherfucking vulture. We don't need to be on it. And anyway, Verdius lived his whole life because that radiation, y'all, the radiation ate all of his skull out, all of his head. You can set your hand off in his head because it ate out all of his skull. And it healed. It healed. His family took really good care of him. And his doctors took really good care of him. It healed, but it was like acid. How you put acid on something, like if you pour acid on a styrofoam ball and it'll burn through it, that's how it ate through his head. That's what they did to our babies. That's what medical experimentation. And then don't forget James Marion Sims, the one that was using the potter's spoon to dig in black women, and that tool that they use when they be examining black women and stuff, and he just jamming them and just digging in black women and stuff, and the babies using the shoemaker's tool, the sharp thing with that point on it, and sticking it in newborn baby heads. Talking about they had some neonatal something, he called it. Well, now it's called neonatal. I started to write it down, but she went going too fast, and it's a long ass word, T-O something. But now they call it neo something else. I will look at it again, and maybe I can write it down in a notebook. But I'm just saying, all of this right here. Planting drugs, guns in those communities. Lack of quality education, because I just told you, just said it. They ain't taught us shit. Some of y'all got some good education, though. Some of us did get some good education. But hell, that's just how America did. Some of us got good, some of us didn't. So, see, don't blame ourselves. We can't blame ourselves for this. The way we was set up, do you see this setup? And this ain't even half of it. Shit, this right here is like probably 9 years old. I've been having this for a long time. There's some more agendas now. Shit, might well open the back of this up. And National Action Against Police Brutality / Danette Chavis. Confirmation. Yeah, it's so many agendas now. We might well open the rest of that up and put them on there. Black America, since we don't want to talk about our hurt and healing, it's some more shit to add on here. How we gonna get through all it? Just jump over and handle everything. Redlining, school to prison pipeline, criminalization of ADOS black men, mass incarceration. And I know it's the FBA and ADOS, but I ain't really familiar with the terms of neither one of them. And Black America isn't. See, don't get it twisted and be mad at us because we all ain't understanding of the many labels and stuff. See, because y'all only make sure certain ones of us get the information and the knowledge, and then y'all stop and build from there. When you got all of us down here that's waiting for information, waiting for knowledge, looking for where's our silver lining. I thought somebody was coming, then pave the road for us. Well, in our face, I think we're going to have to dig this ourselves. Well, I guess we is then. See, we got to quit being like that, but that's because of the self-hate. Everything go right back to the self-hate. Then there's mass incarceration, health insecurities, housing insecurities, water insecurities, joblessness. All kind of shit from being generationally excluded from wealth building. Other disadvantages. But no, don't talk about it, face. Just don't talk about it. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about building this, building that. Don't nobody want to heal Black America and then want to blame us for it. Want to blame us for the music. Blame us for the black on black crime. We take accountability. But why y'all ain't putting the blame where it started at so we can get to the root of the situation? We like this because we ain't got no education. We didn't finish school and stuff. Everybody want to beat around the bush. And I get it. I know it's so many people here now. It's so many different issues other than us. Probably more important than us that we should be focusing on, right? It's other issues more important than our healing that we should be focusing on, right? Our healing shouldn't be the priority right now. That's what y'all saying. That's what Black America's saying. Ready to sacrifice us again. Because just to even think about, don't tell us we got to let white folks know we know everything they done did, and and it ain't like you gonna tell them I know what you did and stuff, and wish the very worst on them. We just want them to know we know what y'all asses did. Repent and repay. Repent and repay. We just want white America to repent and repay and get the fuck away from us. That's all. We're not trying to start no trouble with white America. We're not trying to fight with white America. If y'all, you married to somebody white, fine, stay married to them. Shit, we don't care. Stay married to them. But for the healing of our people, we got to do this. Hell, that's a bed you made. You stay with them. But let us get our healing that we need. The rest of Black America. So what is 25,000 of y'all that's in interracial marriages and businesses and stuff? Stay with it. Y'all 25,000 or whatever the number, stay with them. But the 85,000 of us that ain't, we don't feel like y'all feel. Shit, we don't want what y'all want. Oh, my ancestors. All I say, please don't do our ancestors like this again, y'all. I know it's been a long time. And it's gonna keep coming around again and again and again until we learn our lesson. See, we keep talking that double talk bullshit. That's what y'all do out there. Y'all keep talking that double talk. That's why white America keep marching y'all asses around and around and around and around and throwing a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit here and a little bit there. And we can't never get nothing of significance done for us. That's why. Oh, we proud of the family that bought all the land for, to start our communities and stuff. We proud of them for what they did and stuff, because that's what we need to be doing. But Black America, those that should want that for us, they already know. Now, we ain't going to go too far with that. We'll do a little bit. Little tiny houses ain't much. We'll let them do a little bit. They can do some little tiny houses. That's all right. But we watching them. We keeping our eyes on them. We can't let them do too much. It's always something to stop us because of our not getting no closure. We didn't get no closure from this. Y'all lying to us. We didn't get no closure. Dr. Joy DeGrasse just said it. We didn't get no therapy ever through any of this. And y'all act like, oh, Black America, when you gonna come together? You got to come together. It's on you to come together. How? I thought that too. I'm saying the same thing. Shit, damn, what the hell is wrong with us? How the hell we ain't coming together? We ain't got nothing. Shit, then I finally got here where I'm supposed to be at. Got to read. Now I see why we so fucked up. But I was saying it all along. Our minds done turned to mush. We've been so traumatized, but I didn't know to this extent. Can you imagine the look, the thought going through their minds just while they being drugged to be tortured? Can you imagine? No, we can't. Because if we do, then we got to think about white America. Then we got to face it and see those that did it is the very ones that's done made us think they the most sweetest, kindest, gentlest, wouldn't hurt a fly. We love you, Black America. We would never hurt you. We love the Black man so much. Oh, we love the Black man. Tall, dark, and handsome. Woo! Now, we love Black men. But then, no, them brutes, savages. What they call y'all Black men? Super predators. That lady called y'all that a couple years ago, super predators. But see, they done projected everything onto Black men. Done projected everything on the Black men, but see what they fail to realize. See, and y'all too. It's cosmic energy. Cosmic energy, it won't be contained by nobody. Sure won't, honey. You can't keep cosmic energy in nothing. All your boxes ain't gonna do a bit of good because truth will be exposed. Yes, and we sitting there, we ready to excuse it. Helping them hide it. Helping white America hide the most. I can't even explain this. It's like animals literally just took over. It's like animals just literally took over. Kind of like when you black out. Kind of like when you black out. You know, like on that movie Twilight. And they were people first. And then they think, you know, they done changed to wolves and vampires and stuff. And I guess what they do when they vampires, they don't remember when they go back to being human. I don't know. But it's something that is so surreal, y'all. It don't even seem like it's possible. These things could have even happened. And it happened to our people. And then for us to say, no, we ain't going to talk about it. We ain't even going to talk about it. Black people running so much from, you know, it was over 50 cities and towns in America that white people ran black people out of. Black people running for their life, honey, grabbing everything. Just running. Running for their life. Just running for their life, trying to get away, trying to get to safety. And wherever they were going, they wasn't welcome there. They wasn't safe there. Our people went through so much. Chicago's longest and bloodiest battle was the riot, because it wasn't no battle. And it really wasn't riots. These were all massacres. Was when Eugene Williams and all his friends, everybody in Chicago went to the beach because it was so hot. And they didn't know about the color line. They were just floating in the water. White people started throwing rocks and big logs and stuff. And one of them hit Eugene, and he went unconscious. And he died. And that was the riot in Chicago, the longest and bloodiest riot. White folks, hell, they were hot too. Their ass was at the beach. But see, Eugene had floated across the color line. And that tipped the white folks off. Tipped them off. So see, we do know not to do too much. It just depends on where we all at as far as, you know, in society. Are we having a rough time? Are we getting along good? Are we having a rough time? High society. You know, depending on what's going on. And that right there, in my opinion, that kind of gives us a hint if white America finna snap off or not. So see, black America, we really careful. We are very careful to make sure that white America don't get ticked off again. Yeah. I mean, to see that cannibalistic instinct, that's like the devil itself. And we ain't never even seen it. But we know. Generational trauma, we know. We don't know what it looked like. I wouldn't have known what it looked like if I hadn't started reading, but I got an idea, and hell, I just started. But yeah, they beat a black man to death with bricks. To death with bricks. I mean, how you gonna sit there and just beat a man, beat somebody with bricks? Who got that many bricks? And you just hitting them with, and just throwing them at his body. After he fell, they were hitting him with the bricks. After he fell, they just started throwing bricks. Hard bricks, just throwing them hard as they could. But we don't want to talk about it. Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. Jim Grant, what was he, accused of doing something to a white woman. And honey, they snatched him so quick. Somebody went and got his daddy. Made his daddy watch them beat him and lynch him and ordered him out of town. Yeah. While he was running to save his life. Honey, he was crying and praying and going through all kind of shock because they were lynching his son. Couldn't even do nothing. Whole families run out of town and stuff. And our ones that was loved ones that was being lynched had to go through all this stuff by themselves. Had to go through the worst torture by themselves. Scared, crying, worrying about who else do they got. Do they got the babies? Do they got my wife, my mama? Why they doing this to me? See, we don't want to think about none of this because we know who did it. We know who did it. And we don't want to let them know how we feel about it. But that's the only way we're going to get healing. I don't know who telling y'all the Bible is going to give us healing. Who's telling y'all ignoring it. And just keep on moving forward. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's going to heal us because that's not going to heal us. Not with all of this. Then with Maurice Mays in Knoxville, somebody lied and said 2 white girls was raped and stuff. And Lindsay, when she was trying to run away, the black man shot her and killed her. And the other white girl, he was getting ready to kill her too. But she hollered out, rape me instead. And he ran away. So they went on the hunt for a black man. They found Maurice Mays. And Maurice hadn't even done nothing and stuff. You know, he was a kind man, a hardworking man. He wasn't even the one that did it. They lied. White folks just blew it up and stuff, you know. Yeah, it was like a mob of 5,000 people. They were drinking moonshine and everything. Yeah. Yeah, honey, they just went off. Yeah. And then once they got drunk, they marched to the jail like military style. You know them motherfuckers wasn't walking military style. Hell, them motherfuckers was stampeding like wild animals. Going to the jailhouse so they can get Maurice and ravage over him and then kill him like some clanimals. Now, it wasn't no military style. Then they got the line and stuff. The media got the line talking about she was pregnant. He raped her and all embellishing the story. Because, you know, we had read in the other book, it was saying the newspapers had to see, they had to try to get more readers, more subscribers. So they was always making it more fanciful. So, yeah, once they got to doing that and stuff, you know, their newspaper sold out in like 2 hours. Yeah, but once they found him, you know, it was like more and more people. It went from like 250 to 600. Then I think it went to 4,000, then 5,000, then 10,000 people. And they all wanted Maurice. Yep, they all wanted Maurice. They got him. And they ended up lynching him and killing him and stuff. And riddled his body with bullets. Yeah, everybody. After they had beat him and lynched him up in the tree and stuff. Yeah. Probably as he was dying, being lynched. That's when they started shooting him and stuff. It was like a game. You know? Like they were waiting. Once they lynched him up there and stuff, you know. And he was losing his breath because it was cutting off his breath. And his feet was dangling and stuff. And that's when they like, yeah. Right before he actually died, because they want him to feel it. See, they want him to feel every ounce of pain that they inflicted on them. Our ancestors. Oh, don't be mistaken. Don't get it twisted. We ain't here to excuse what white America did. So we're not going to sugarcoat none of it. I know it's hard. I know it is, honey. But anytime we know what they did to Emmett Till, that baby wasn't but 14 years old. And the pictures we seen wasn't even the worst of what they did. That coroner made Emmett look a little bit presentable because Mamie wanted it to be seen. She wanted everybody to see what they did to him. So, yeah, they were going all out on a grown man. All out. Well, let's read. Let's get our book and read. We're going to read a little bit anyway. Maybe not a whole chapter. But I just wanted to come on tonight and say that if we do change our mind, if y'all change y'all mind, hey, it's fine. Do you. Stay safe. Best way you can. Yeah. But I know one thing. I'm on my ancestor side, and that's it, and that's all. Yeah. So don't worry about me and don't worry about them. You better be worried about yourself. And when they do come back, when the ancestors do come back, you better know who they are. I know that. Yeah. Don't let the ancestors get down here and show themselves, and y'all don't know who is who. Oh, who is that right there? Is that? Yeah. Man, I can't. It seemed like it's so surreal. You know. All right, and this here is racial violence in the United States. So, we have read Summer 1919, the summer of 1919, and the awakening of Black America. We read that first, this one right here. The summer of 1919 and the awakening of Black America. And then we read racial violence in Kentucky, 1865 to 1940. And we returned that one. And now we're reading racial violence in the United States. And then we'll probably read that lynching in Minnesota. Lynching in Duluth. That's the name of the book. Duluth, Minnesota. Oh, yeah, we reading. We reading here. We are starting in the era of slavery, but not at the captivity. Because like I said, I'm a little late to the fight. So we're not starting at the area, at the point of captivity. We're starting, but we are in that space there, because that is the root of our trauma too. That is the root of our trauma too. And I think that we all know that slavery, enslaved, when we were in chains, it was very horrific. I think we all collectively know how bad that was. It's just that after slavery, see, these things here happen after slavery. We know about a lot of the things that happened during slavery, but after slavery, when Black America was free. You see, we don't know a lot of those things. Most of it, we have no idea. It just seemed to me like those that do have ideas about this, that do know, are, are willing to overlook it. Yeah, but you can't, ask for us to heal and not look at the reason why we need healing. I mean, we know. I just think that's so unfair to do us like that. The Houston Race Riot, 1917. The most serious riot involving Negro soldiers, which occurred in the United States during the First World War, took place in Houston, Texas, on the night of Thursday, August the 23rd, 1917. At that time, over 100 Negro United States Army regulars seized rifles and ammunition by force and marched upon the city. This outbreak followed a period of rising racial tension, climaxed by an altercation between white police officers and Negro military police. The following morning, it was announced that there were 13 known dead, of whom only one was a Negro, and 19 wounded, including 5 Negro soldiers, as a result of the riot. A few days later, the mayor of Houston appointed a special investigating commission, which sat in open session for several days. Much of the testimony there presented is quoted in subsequent issues of the Houston Daily Post. Upon these reports, the following analysis is based. Let me read that one more time. Much of the testimony there presented is quoted in subsequent issues of the Houston Daily Post. Upon these reports, the following analysis is based. I don't know what I'll be reading. Now, why couldn't they just say the following analysis is based upon these reports? Why they got to be like, upon these reports, the following analysis is based? See, that's why we have problems reading, okay? Because they got to make it, you know, all these little twists and turns and stuff. That's why they say reading is fundamental, ain't it? All right, the social and psychological setting. The several companies of Negro troops of the 24th United States Infantry, who later took part in the riot, had been sent from a Western Army post to Houston to guard government property during the construction of Camp Logan, July 28th. This detachment, totaling about 600 men, included both men who had been in service for some time and were more or less seasoned troops, and more recent enlistees who came from various parts of the country, particularly from the north. Houstonians were expecting the early arrival of a considerably larger number. They were looking for, like 3,000, but they only sent 600. So they were looking for a number of 3,000 of Negro troops. Historians were expecting the early arrival of a considerably larger number of Negro troops, along with the white National Guardsmen from Illinois, who were to be housed at Camp Logan upon its completion. In addition to some of the white Guardsmen, one company of Negroes had arrived on Monday, August the 20th. The anticipated arrival of further substantial contingents of Northern Negro troops, alarming in itself to some Houstonians, gained specific significance in its relation to the hotly debated issue of local prohibition. Another point which needs to be mentioned is the fact that Houston was currently being considered by military authorities as the site of a new aviation center. Probably this circumstance has something to do with the lack of public admission of the race tension which was mounting prior to the outbreak itself. A final element in the situation, which may or may not have been of importance, was the fact that early in the week during which the riot occurred, there was a change in commanding officers at the camp. The new commander, possibly less experienced than his predecessor, apparently had not fully gained the respect of the Negro troopers. This brief resume of the objective social factors in the situation leads to a consideration of what various segments of the population of Houston were thinking and doing, and particularly what types of interracial interaction patterns were developing prior to the riot. The following elements in the psychosocial situation which spawned the Houston riot are then identified and documented by press clippings. Number 1, the local press. Number 2, the law enforcement officials. Number 3, white officers in command of Negro troops. Number 4, prohibitionists. Number 5, white workmen, members of the construction crews that was working at Camp Logan. And number 6, streetcar motormen and conductors. Buried on the 14th page of the issue for Saturday, buried on the 14th page of the issue for Sunday, August the 19th, is the only item the writer found published prior to the time of the riot, which indicated the existence of local racial friction. It was already heating up. It was already heating up. So it made me think all of their asses. The local press, the law enforcement, the white officers that was in command of the Negro troops, the prohibitionists, the white workmen, and the streetcar motormen and conductors. All of them have been picking and bullying the black men, the black troops. That's what it seemed like to me. Because it said the following elements in the psychosocial situation which spawned the Houston riot. Well, this is what it said. While standing in the pay line at Camp Logan Saturday afternoon, Sam Blair, a Negro employed at the camp, was stabbed and lightly wounded in the back by an unknown white man. The Negro is said to have pushed his way into the pay line ahead of the white man, who resented it. Blair, it is said, grabbed the white man by the shoulder while someone else hit him with a shovel. When the white man, with a free arm, pulled a knife and stabbed Blair in the back. The latter was taken to the infirmary in the ambulance of the Houston Undertaking Company. And that was the only thing that was in the paper. But that proved that it was some racial tension going on and stuff. It was a hint that there was some racial tension. It would seem that the most middle and upper class white Houstonians knew little about the developing racial friction, for they were too far removed to learn about it firsthand, and the press did not inform them. Those who were in a position to know the facts thought it better not to publicize them. It is impossible to determine on the basis of available evidence that extent or importance of rumor and gossip in this connection. The precipitating incident, morning time. On the day after the riot, there appeared on an inside page of the Post a brief item which evidently was written and prepared for publication prior to the outbreak of the riot. Oh, like it was premeditated? Let's read. Inconspicuous in comparison with the blaring headlines of the riot itself, it gives the first account of the incident which precipitated the riot. 2 Negro soldiers, one of them a member of the military police, were arrested by officers Daniels and Sparks on Thursday afternoon and claimed to have been beaten up to some extent by the officers. Later, 2 other Negro soldiers from Camp Logan approached the officers to ascertain what had become of their comrades, and on receiving the information reported to their superior officers at the camp. Afterward, the officers in command of the Negro soldiers had a conference with the superintendent with Superintendent Police Brock. That was his name. And that conference resulted in the issuance of an order by the chief that hereafter Negro soldiers are not to be referred to by members of the department as Negroes, but as colored soldiers. It is said that the order had stirred up a good deal of feeling. Oh, they must have been pissed about that. But why? It is said that the order has stirred up a good deal of feeling. Feeling by who? White folks or black folks? Let's read. Officers Daniels and Sparks gave their version of the trouble as follows. This is what they said. They had arrested a negress on San Felipe Street Thursday afternoon when a Negro soldier came up to them and asked them to turn the negress over to him. They refused, and finally the soldier became so insistent that the officers were obliged to subdue him and send him to the station. Shortly afterward, another Negro soldier, one of the military police, asked the same officers what had become of his comrade. And one word led to another, and this soldier also was sent to the station. A little the worse for wear. They beat his ass. They beat him. And speaking of the occurrence Thursday evening, Superintendent Brock said one of the soldiers had been returned to the camp while the other one was still detained at the police station. He could not say what action would be taken by the government against the two officers who are alleged to have hit the soldiers, but he had put the whole thing up to the government. The chief said he was doing all in his power, everything he could, to preserve order between the two elements, and he would continue to do so. That's what the chief said. It was worth pointing out that the central importance of this incident is admitted in the front page major story of the riot, following a brief version of the same incident. It said, from every source Thursday night, reports came that this treatment of the troops led to the riot. To avoid confusion in the material about to be presented, it should be noted that the trouble referred to occurred Thursday morning rather than Thursday afternoon, as the above account has it. It seems hardly necessary to state that the order issued by the superintendent of police, Brock, regarding the mode of address to be employed by police officers in dealing with Negro soldiers was later stricken from the police record. At 2 points in the investigation, testimony was taken regarding the incident which precipitated the riot, and certain basic inconsistencies between the versions of the white policemen who participated and the other informants were clearly developed. The crux of the matter seems to be whether the treatment of the Negro soldiers by the white civil policemen was justified. The following is that of the white policeman. Mr. Sparks said that he and his partner arrested a Negro woman on Bailey and San Felipe Streets Thursday morning on a charge of abusive language. They took her to the police box at San Felipe and Wilson Streets and sent in a call for the patrol wagon. While waiting there, they saw a Negro soldier running towards the Negro woman. And when told that he could not have her, he said that he would take her anyway. Sparks said that he told the Negro Edwards 3 different times to get back, but that when he kept coming in, he struck him 4 times with his revolver, pistol whipped him. That's why he was hurt. He then made him sit down and wait for the patrol wagon, and he and the Negro woman were put in it together and sent to the police station. Edwards was drunk. That's what he said. Edwards was drunk. He had been drinking. Officer Sparks was called to the witness stand a second time in the course of the day of the investigation. This time, he was quoted as follows. I arrested the Negro woman. I arrested the Negro woman for abusive language. While I was waiting for the wagon, Edwards came up with about 20 Negroes following him and said he wanted the woman. I said he couldn't have her. He said he was going to have her and reached over. I hit him over the head 3 or 4 times till his heart got right and he sat down. Here's the pivotal question in the entire affair. What was the nature of the interaction between Sergeant Baltimore, a colored soldier playing the role, but not clothed with the authority of a military policeman, and the 2 civil white policemen, Sparks and Daniels, resentful of being questioned by the Negro and possibly covering up an inward fear by an outward show of violence? How? Let's read that one more time so we can kind of get the crux of that. What was the nature of the interaction between Sergeant Baltimore, a colored soldier playing the role, but not clothed with the authority of a military policeman. He ain't dressed like they is. So what was the interaction between him and the two civil white policemen, Sparks and Daniels, resentful of being questioned by the Negro, because they don't question us. That's how they felt. And possibly covering up an inward fear by an outward show of violence. Mm-hmm. Superintendent of Police Brock was recalled to the witness stand and was questioned by Judge Henry J. Dannenbaum, 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 regarding the encounter between Sparks and Sergeant Baltimore and the latter's arrest. He said that the Negro soldier made a statement. He made a statement at the station, which was produced and read. He said Captain Haig Shergian, Shekergian, Shergian, Detectives Daugherty and Fife, and he were present at the time. All of them was there. They all heard it. Let's see. According to the statement, Sparks struck Baltimore over the head with his pistol. Then he fired at him, and Baltimore ran into the house and got under the bed. Sparks followed him, according to the statement, and made him get up, and then struck him again 2 times. Baltimore said he was just inquiring what had become of his brother officer, and that it was his duty to investigate the matter. Sparks said he only struck Baltimore 1 time. That was it. That he did not strike him after he had run into the house. He said Baltimore had no arms or police club with him. Asked why he hit the Negro more than once, he said he wasn't going to wrestle with the big Negro. He admitted that in making arrests in the thickly populated Negro sections where the more vicious elements of the Negroes congregate, he thought it necessary to use more force than was legally or morally necessary, and in order to keep the other Negroes from running away from him. So he would be like, doing the most, so he could keep the order and stuff. And he said it was to keep the other Negroes from running away, but it was to keep the other Negroes from attacking his ass. So he was making them think, yeah, I'll kill you too. I'll shoot you too. In answer to General Chamberlain, he said he had received no instructions as to the relations to be maintained between the police officer and the military police and the General Chamberlain. And General Chamberlain observed, I thought so. Sparks and Daniels made a verbal statement, said Mr. Brock, and he told Sparks he would be suspended in the morning. Sparks said he could not afford to be suspended, that he had been suspended before, and Brock told him he would wait until he investigated the matter first. Sparks said that he told the chief and the officer that nothing more was said except that Chief Brock told him to go home and stay away from there until he was called for. Baltimore seemed to have been drinking, he said. Detective E.F. Daugherty. Detective E.F. Dowdy, who took the Negro Baltimore's statement on the typewriter, explained the conversion in Superintendent Brock's office. He said that besides himself, Officers Fife and McPhail, Superintendent Brock, Captain Shergian of the 24th Infantry, and Baltimore was in the office too. He said that Baltimore stated that he was coming down San Felipe Street when he met another Negro soldier of whom he inquired where the police officers could be found. He said he went to them and asked them why they had arrested another Negro soldier that morning, telling them that he wanted the information in order to be able to report to his commanding officer. But see, they felt like he was questioning them. And that's why they were resentful. Because how dare you question us? You know, you nigger. Even though he was a soldier and they were just asking questions. He was just asking them questions. Baltimore, according to Detective Dowdy, said that Officer Sparks then hit him with his pistol, and that when he turned and ran, 3 shots were fired at him. He said he was arrested in a house about a block down the street. Dowdy said that later, Superintendent Brock and Sparks were in the former's office alone, and that when Sparks came out, he said something to the effect that he wasn't getting a square deal. He also said that any man who would stick up for a Negro was no better than a Negro himself, Dowdy testified. As he went out of the door, he continued that if that wasn't enough, he would give him the rest of it. If he needed some more information, I guess, he'd give him the rest of it. Later, Dowdy said that Sparks sent an apology to Superintendent Brock by Captain Anderson. When asked whether he knew if Sparks had been suspended by Superintendent Brock, Dowdy said that Brock and Captain Sheckergen were to have had a conference Friday morning, and that he understood Sparks was to be suspended until the matter had been settled. But see, they told him they were going to wait first before suspending him, which we know they lie anyway. That's all they ever do is lie. He said that Sparks said after his interview with the superintendent that if Chief Davidson had been in the office, he would have told Captain Sheckergen to get out and take his Negroes with him. About a month after the riot, the following was reported from El Paso, Texas. It was based on testimony taken before the Special Board of Inquiry at the Fort Bliss Stockade, where the Negro troopers were being tried for their role in the riot. The evidence taken before the Board of Inquiry develops that the meeting was carefully planned and that it was the result of the beating up of a Negro provost guard by a Houston policeman. This Negro, with his face still showing the scars of combat, was before the Board of Inquiry Wednesday and told his story. According to this story, the man returned to the camp at 11 in the morning of the day of the mutiny. He told of his experiences at the hands of the police, and 2 hours later, it had spread throughout the entire battalion. The role of rumor. This is the early morning or the early afternoon. We are now in a position to give a brief synthetic account of the supposed sequence of events that led up to the mid-afternoon. It began with the arrest of a Negro woman, drunk and therefore using abusive language by the white policemen Sparks and Daniels. In this process, they treated her with considerable severity, if not actual brutality, as a result of which Edwards, a Negro soldier, the first one, a private but also a provost guard, and therefore Baltimore's brother officer, he attempted to intervene. This led to his beating, his arrest, and his incarceration. But as he was not kept long at the station, he was able to be back at the camp in the late morning. So this right here leading up to early afternoon. Early in the afternoon, Corporal Baltimore, another provost guard, attempted to locate the police officers that were stationed in San Felipe district so he could find out what happened to Edwards and why. Directed by another Negro soldier, he soon located Officer Sparks and Officer Daniels. Being refused the information he sought, he attempted to escape from the policemen. He was chased, shot at, captured, he was beaten, arrested, and taken to the station and locked up in the early afternoon. Sparks and Daniels, meanwhile, returned to their beat where they were subsequently approached and questioned by another pair of Negro soldiers whose demeanor was such that they saw fit to reward them with the desired information. Meanwhile, also the story of Baltimore's ill treatment at the hands of the same policeman who had just that morning beaten up Edwards had been carried back to the camp by the soldier who had directed Baltimore to the policeman and who had hung around awaiting developments to see what was going to happen. Broadcast throughout the camp by the grapevine and at the same time exaggerated. This news proved to be the straw that broke the camel's back, for it tended to confirm the already current notion that the only way to release the cumulative pressure of resentment and rage was to retaliate directly against the offending San Felipe policeman. It seems clear that the resentment aroused by the returned Edwards was terrifically intensified when the report that Baltimore had been shot at became transformed into the rumor that it seems clear that the resentment aroused by the returned Edwards was terrifically intensified when the report that Baltimore had been shot at became transformed into the rumor that he had been shot and killed. So they embellished it. He was shot at and beaten and stuff, but they told it that he was shot and killed. So, people was emotional and mad, and it just started broke camel's back. Planning, preparation for, and execution of the riot. This is mid-afternoon and later. James Divins, member of Company 1 of the Negro Regiment, in an affidavit obtained by the District Attorney's Department, stated that he came off duty. He came off guard duty at about 2:30, and he heard some of the men, his company, talking about Corporal Baltimore having been shot downtown by a police officer. And they were all talking among themselves as to who would go downtown and raid. They all agreed to wait until night so they could see about the ammunition. According to the news dispatch from El Paso, at the time of the soldiers' trial, about 3 p.m, the men commenced stealing their rifles and ammunition and planning the descent on the town. The real leader of the mutiny, Sergeant Henry, he committed suicide with his own pistol rather than surrender. He wasn't going. No, he wasn't going. They wasn't taking him alive. The news of the imminent riot spread quickly from soldiers to civilians. Saeed E. Hartwell, captain of the temporary fire station at the government warehouse, in response to the question, did those men, they're talking about the Negro Guards, did those men tell you anything of the trouble? And this is what he said. They said when the wagon came that night bringing provisions, the men had been told that the police in town had shot one of their number. When they left the camp, they said they were going to the police station to get revenge. Leroy Pinkett, a Negro soldier previously quoted, asserted in his affidavit. It was getting late then, and we stood retreat at 6 o'clock, and then our men began changing by talking. I heard Sergeant Henry of our company say, well, don't stand around like that. If you're going to do anything, go ahead and do it. After that, I saw some of the boys slip over to Company K, and I heard them say that they stole ammunition, and then Captain Snow called the men out in line, and he asked what we were doing and ordered a search made for the ammunition, and also ordered that the rifles be taken up. Another sergeant, I forget his name, took up our rifles from our tent. In this same talk, Captain Snow told us that Baltimore was not in the wrong. I heard him say that. A white grocery salesman, B.A. Calhoun, he testified as follows. I took Captain Snow to the police station. We went to the station at 4:30 and returned at 6 o'clock. Question: what was the temper of the Negroes? Answer: They were surly at 6 o'clock. Captain Snow talked to them about the trouble Sergeant Baltimore had with the police officers and told them that Chief Brock had said his police officers were wrong in his case and they would be suspended and they would be punished. The men seemed ugly and congregated in groups. About 8 p.m., Sergeant Henry came to Captain Snow and told him he could not make the men obey. 5 men of Company K were put in the guardhouse. The bugle was sounded for the officers' call, and all officers came out and reported to their companies, and they were assembled. They all lined up and were without arms. This was about 8 o'clock, 8:10. Captain Snow said to me he had collected all arms and ordered all Negro civilians out of the camp. Just at that time, someone cried out, "Break ranks and get your guns." Firing began. I don't know who fired. It may have been the men designated to do police duty downtown. It will be recalled that Superintendent Brock stated the military police were armed with nightsticks only. But all seemed to have ammunition. I ran into Captain Snow's tent, and his Negro attendant told me to lay down. He told me if the troops knew he had not joined them, they would not kill him. A part of them marched right by the tent I was in. Others refused to join them and were threatened with death. Some officers ordered them to halt. They kept on, about 150 of them, all in a line. Someone said, "Stop firing, save our ammunition, for we will need it later." And I heard one say, "We are headed for the police station." The soldier who gave the signal for the break is identified in the statement of Leroy Pinkett. A big fellow in our company named Frank Johnson then came running down the company street hollering, "Get your rifle, boys! Get your rifles! It's time!" We all made a rush then for the supply camp and got our rifles, and we went to a large ammunition box and got our ammunition. Sergeant Henry was the leader. They were waiting on him, tell him what to do. The following statement of James Divins takes up immediately after the company had been checked for ammunition and the rifles had been collected and they were turned into the supply tent. And so it said about half the company then gathered around the stump and they were talking about someone getting the box of ammunition. Captain Scourgeon walked up and said he wanted to speak to the company. About that time, some member of the company said, "There's a mob coming. Go get your guns." And everyone commenced hollering, "Get your gun, get your gun, go get your gun." And we all rushed to the supply tent and got our guns. Someone then was pitching ammunition out of the box, and Sergeant Henry asked, "Has everybody got their ammunition?" And someone hollered, "I ain't got enough." And Sergeant Henry formed the company in front of the officers' line, and Sergeant Henry made a little talk and said, "This is serious business." And everyone was asked to stay with him. As we all went off towards town, I heard a demand to halt, but it was not given by anyone in our company, and no one obeyed the command. Sergeant Henry, after going a short distance, halted the company and said, We will go back and make L Company go with us." They're going back and get some backup. And we marched down to L's Company Street. Prosperity. And we marched down to L Company Street, and some said that L Company wouldn't go. They said, "I ain't going." You came for nothing. We came back, and Sergeant Henry stopped the company again and said his father was a soldier and had gone down, but we men would have to follow him, and he would carry us down. Sergeant Henry then ordered a flank guard put out in the rear, and he also put one out in the front, and we marched down the Shell Road. I think there were about 150 men in this company, and a little over half of them were from my company, and the other ones was made up from other companies. None of the men were drunk that I know of. They didn't seem like they were drunk to me. We did not have any beer at the camp, and I never heard of any men getting any beer that day. Meanwhile, what was happening in Houston? We can get some idea from the story of P.F. Louder, a reporter representing the Chicago Herald, which was reproduced in the Post. And then what it said. The first Houston knew of the trouble was at 8 o'clock. They didn't know nothing before then. A few scattering shots was heard. Everybody began to ask everybody else what the trouble was, what's going on, what's happening, who's shooting. Then the telephone began to ring. Send help, send help. The niggas are shooting up the town. 3 automobiles loaded with police officers started for Camp Logan. They halted at the city limits and confined their activities to warning people not to go near the camp. Stay away, go home, go to your houses. An ambulance that ventured near to pick up the wounded girl, she was hit by a stray bullet while she was within her home, was stopped by the colored troops. The tires were shot full of holes. The driver told to turn around. A few shots was fired in the air, and the machine came tearing back. The road on flat tires. They were riding on flat tires trying to get up out of there. Other reporters, out to see what was happening, had the following to say. 80 of the Negroes marching in military formation in columns of twos led by a tall private marched south. This was at 9:20 o'clock. The men were in perfect order, though they were marching along out of step. When 2 other newspaper men bound for the camp to find out what the cause of the trouble was, ran into the column, they made no threatening move, except that the tall leader shoved one of the reporters in the ditch. The 2 civilians were allowed to go on toward the army camp unmolested. As they were abreast in the middle of the column, one Negro called out, See here, boys, what you let them 2 go by for? You going to pass up them 2? Let's get them. There was no answer and no move was made to get them. It is thought that these soldiers marched down to Shepherd's Dam Road, across the bridge, and entered the city in the San Felipe Street section where the fighting kept up long after it had ceased everywhere else. The fighting done stopped everywhere else, but down there it was still going on. Yep. And that's where they were going. Testified Mrs. Maud Potts, a jitney operator, in response to the question, what do you know about the riot? I was in the center of it. I heard a Negro soldier tell me, get away from here, white lady. We don't want to kill you, but we are after the white policemen who have called us names and have been beating up our men. I saw many civilian Negroes go along with the Negro soldiers, and they were armed, and some of them were shooting wild. James Dibben further testified, we crossed the bridge, and we met 2 United States officers in a car on San Felipe Street and halted them and returned their guns to them and let them go. I saw 2 officers, police officers, in uniform. One was laying in the street on his back, and he had been shot, but he wasn't dead, and the other one was laying on the side in the bend of the road. I don't know if he was dead or not. From the last 4 items, it seems clear that the Negro troops was not out to mow down Houston whites indiscriminately, that some of the Negroes, both soldiers and civilians, may have had an inclination to be less discriminating in their violence is entirely possible. I'm going to read that again. That some of the Negroes, both soldiers and civilians, may have had an inclination to be less discriminating in their violence is entirely possible. It was only certain ones, it seemed like to me. It was only certain ones that was fucking with them and threatening them. It seemed like that's the ones that they were going out to meet. But let's read. But the disciplined and relatively orderly way in which the departure from the camp was organized and carried out strongly suggests that the leaders, while inflexibly determined to punish the San Felipe policemen, had no intention of generally shooting up the town. That makes sense? But the disciplined and relatively orderly way in which the departure from the camp was organized and carried out strongly suggests that the leaders, while inflexibly determined to punish the San Felipe policemen, had no intentions of generally shooting up the town. That ain't what they were trying to do. They were trying to punish the police, but they didn't want to shoot up the town. They wasn't trying to shoot the little girl that was in the house. They didn't mean for none of that to happen, in my opinion. This interpretation is corroborated by the statement of Captain Tuggle. And he said, of course, everyone knows Captain Matz and the police officer, Menike, had gone on ahead of the troops and had met the crowd of Negroes advancing up San Felipe and had been killed. I'm fully convinced that Captain Matz would never have been shot if he had not been in the car with a police officer. I believe that the Negroes thought he was another policeman. After Captain Tuggle had made his statement, a Negro prisoner in a signed confession made a similar statement that bore out Captain Tuggle's theory. The Negro said if he had known that Captain Matz was an Army officer, that he would have never harmed him. They had shot out the street lights. They saw in the front seat just a man whom they knew to be a police officer. In the dark, they thought the other man, Captain Matz, was another and killed both. Then they plunged bayonets into them. Right. More light is thrown on the general turmoil and alarm among the civilians of Houston by the following quotations. Everybody telling. But see, when white folks were doing their killing and stuff, the witnesses wasn't telling. But yeah, let's read. Yeah, let's read. This is racial violence in the United States. More light is thrown on the general turmoil and alarm among the civilians of Houston by the following quotations. Human policemen, armed civilians, and members of the Texas National Guard, as well as the Illinois Guardsmen who were in town when the trouble started, quickly went to the scene of the shooting, where Captain W.P. Rothrock, R-O-T-H-R-O-C-K, where Captain W.P. Rothrock, constructing quartermaster of Camp Logan, assumed command. He was over. He was in charge. Angry cries of, lynch him! And come, let's go kill him. Lynch their ass, we want him dead. Were heard all on all sides, all around. It was so much screaming and stuff. Lynch him, get him, kill him, give him to me. You know, you just can't even imagine. So it was heard on all sides. Captain Rothrock placed an armed guard across Washington Avenue with instructions not to let anyone pass. Then climbed upon the hood of an automobile, and he appealed to the men to listen to reason. About the undertaking establishment, great throngs gathered, and there was muttering and denunciation of the most rabid sort. Oh, my ancestor. Now, let's read that again. Because he's standing on top of the car, the hood of the car. He on the hood. Not the, he on the hood of the car. And he's trying to get them to listen to reason about the undertaking establishment. Great throngs gathered, and there was muttering and denunciation of the most rabid sort. So I guess they like clawing, trying to get to him, saying, "No, we don't want that. We want him. We want the slaves, lynch him." I don't know, probably growling and stuff. Mm-hmm. At the police station, probably 1,000 men, many of them armed, gathered, and there was a seething mass which circulated wild rumors and offered their services to the chief of police and his lieutenants. This crowd stayed around most of the evening. though there was a gradual thinning out, and at midnight, there was only a score or so. At 10 o'clock, every available member of the police department was being rushed to the scene of the trouble in autos, armed with repeating rifles and pistols. A report reached the police station about 1/3 of the righteous Negro soldiers was under restraint, and that the balance had divided up into two small groups and was rushing their way into other parts of the city. Someone broke in the front window of Baring's Main Street hardware store, but Lieutenant G.G. Howard stationed himself in front of the door and refused to let anybody in. You wasn't getting up in there. A large crowd gathered in front of Baring Courts Wholesale, it's another hardware store, in Prairie Avenue, upon the report that Negroes had broken into the store to get arms. And in some way, a number of them gained admittance to the store and obtained the guns. The importance of the rumors which accompanied the beginning of the outbreak is indicated in the following report. The importance of the rumors which accompanied the beginning of the outbreak is indicated in the following report. The vagueness and uncertainty of early reports of the trouble of Thursday night caused much uneasiness and fear. Added to the more or less authentic reports as to what was actually taking place were rumors, wild imaginings of disordered brains. One was to the effect that the Negro troopers was moving upon the city, 600 strong, sweeping everything in their path. Another was that local Negroes had joined the soldiers in a general uprising, that they were forming in various parts of the city and awaiting a general signal to start their work of destruction. They were waiting on the sickle. As a result of these rumors, because they were just rumors, lies. As a result of these rumors, many spent an anxious and sleepless night. A brief account of the role of the Illinois National Guardsmen concludes the section of the riot proper. Companies were marched to the campsite of the Negro companies. Other companies went to the San Felipe district where the Army Negroes had gone. The campsite was surrounded and not a man, white or black, was allowed to leave. Ain't nobody going nowhere. Word was received late at night that the San Felipe quarter was surrounded by Illinois troops and that they were waiting for daylight to capture the Negro company. Peace and quiet failed to settle upon Houston with the capture of the last of the righteous Negro soldiers. Hysterical fear and the rumors engendered thereby continued to agitate the people of Houston. Almost 2 weeks after the riot, the following notices were published conspicuously on the front page of the Post by Major General G.O. Bell Jr. I guess that's George. To the public, the frenzied appeals made to me personally and to the officers of the staff of the 33rd Division during the last 24 hours, coupled with the rumors which have come to us, demonstrated that a condition of apprehension exists in the minds of the people of Houston, which demands a statement from me. The only colored troops in Camp Logan are in Company G of the 8th Illinois Infantry. Well, see? Right there. The only colored troops in Camp Logan are in Company G of the 8th Illinois Infantry, which numbers 3 officers, 134 men, 10 men attached, 3 men sick, and 4 men absent on leave, a total of 154. I have no service ammunition in their possession. They have no service ammunition in their possession, and no organization is quieter or better behaved. There is abundant evidence to show that many people in Houston have worked themselves up into a state of frenzy, bordering on hysteria on the subject of these colored troops. A certain newspaper in Houston has, under large headlines, given circulation to a rumor that Negro soldiers and civilians are preparing for a raid, and that the time of the attack has been set for 11:15 o'clock Wednesday night. That very night, it is impossible for me to find terms sufficiently strong to condemn these statements as these. They and every one of the rumors which have come to my ears in the last 24 hours are absolutely and unquantifiably false and without the slightest justification in fact. I therefore appeal to the sensible people of the city to put an end to all the unfounded reports and resulting hysteria created thereby for the good, not only of Camp Logan, but for your city as well. And that's George Bell Jr., Major General, U.S. Army. Major J.C. Hutchinson Jr., he said to the public, so many hysterical and unfounded rumors calculated to disturb the peace of the city of Houston and to bring discredit upon our city if persisted and have reached me, and there seems to be such a feeling of uncertainty and unrest generally prevalent that I feel it necessary to personally state that I have been assured by General Bell that every precaution has been taken against disorder arising out of or connected with Camp Logan, and that I have arranged with General Bell for placing in the city, beginning Wednesday, a sufficient number of white military police composed of picked men to thoroughly police all quarters where the soldiers from Camp Logan may be. Certainly, it is utterly inexcusable for any of our citizens, when thus reassured on the matters of original apprehension, to circulate or give credence to wild and disturbed rumors, wholly without foundation, such as have been recently current. J.C. Hutchinson Jr., Mayor. Yep. These statements speak for themselves. But along with the general hysteria, the conception of the riot held by the people of Houston was undergoing a transformation. A legend was being born. At the time of the riot, it was generally admitted that the Negro troops were bent on wreaking vengeance on the civilian policemen who they felt had treated them very badly. The first attempt to redefine the event seems to be that of a minister preaching a funeral sermon. And he said, Dr. W.S. Lockhart, pastor of the South End Christian Church, who delivered the funeral sermon over the remains of Officer Ira D. Rainey, who was killed by Negro soldiers in the mutiny Thursday night, declared in the sermon that while there appeared to be an attempt on the part of many to attribute this mutiny to race troubles, the real fact was that the mutiny was due to just 2 causes: vice and booze. It was simply a case of a bunch of bad niggas dressed up in a uniform, given a little authority and put under very lax discipline, who, under the influence of women and booze, perpetuated this murderous crime against the Army and the city of Houston. The blame ought to be placed where it belongs, he said, and a great mistake would be made if Houston allows the impression to grow abroad that it was race prejudice that caused the trouble, and it is a slander on the Houston people, white and black, to make it appear so. He praised the police force for the brave fight it put up against the armed desperados. And then a week later, the sermon of another Houston minister was reported as follows. A beautiful tribute to the men who gave up their lives for the defense of the people of Houston on the night of the mutiny of the Negro soldiers was paid by Dr. H.D. Knickerbocker at the First Methodist Church Sunday morning. The minister was preaching on the atonement, and he used this incident to illustrate his sermon. See, those soldiers and policemen who died that night to the stem, the black tide of death sweeping towards the home of Houston, they entered into the glory of God himself, who gave the fullest exhibition of vicarious suffering in the death of his son. Thus, we see the role of the Houston policeman identified with that of Jesus in Christ. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Thus, we see the role of the Houston policeman identified, it was right, identified with that of Jesus Christ himself. Beyond it would seem difficult for any apologist to go. 4 weeks after the riot, from a special camp Logan section of the Post, we learn how complete the transformation has already become. The conception of the event has shifted from one in which direct retaliation is central, into one featuring incipient mass slaughter. Says the headlines. How Illinois Guardsmen saved the city of Houston. Nothing stopped mutineers on the night of August the 23rd until they faced the unflinching white soldiers from Camp Logan. Illinois Guardsmen on the night of August the 23rd saved Houston. There is not a Houstonian who would contest this statement. The Negro soldiers, with their rifles and belts and bandoliers filled with ball ammunition, marched into Houston, then down Felipe Street, shooting at every white face they saw. What broke up the organization? What was it that crumpled the will of these angry soldiers, that scared them into slinking away up the side streets, each man by himself? What was it that checked their march on Houston, saved dozens, perhaps hundreds of lives? It was the men in khaki from the state of Illinois. One more item must be presented to round out this account. 13 Negro soldiers of the 24th United States Infantry were hanged at dawn today for murders committed at Houston late August, when members of that regiment engaged in mutinous rioting in the city streets. 41 other Negroes were sentenced to life imprisonment, 4 others for short terms, and 5 was acquitted. But this is not the final scene, for that lives on with the people who experienced directly or indirectly the terror and hatred of the riot and its aftermath. And then the conclusion. The data presented in the course of the municipal investigation demonstrate that the stage was all set for a serious disturbance growing out of race ill feeling. The data also indicate that although there were other situations in which tension was aroused, it was the members of the Houston police force, and particularly those stationed in the Negro district around San Felipe Street, against whom the colored troops' hostility was directed. As a case study of racial conflict involving Negro soldiers, this particular event yields a number of hypotheses which should be tested for validity as principles of general significance in the phenomena of race conflict, particularly of riots. 1. Transportation difficulties growing out of resentment due to segregation are significantly symptomatic of growing tension. 2. Mistreatment of Negro women being arrested by white police officers is keenly resented by Negro men. This resentment is likely to cause Negro men, particularly military personnel, to say or do something which is unacceptable to white policemen. 3. The pattern of relationships and interaction between Negro military police and white civilian police is perhaps of crucial importance in understanding and controlling racial relationships in which Negro military personnel are involved. 4. Whether on the basis of factual or rumored incidents of mistreatment, when the feeling of tension or resentment becomes sufficiently oppressive, a nucleus of Negro military leadership is likely to appear. Organized about the attempt to secure arms and ammunition with the objective of taking direct retaliatory action. Woo! I think that'll be it for tonight. Because, whoa, yeah, this is quite a lesson right here, ain't it? Order in Chicago, vice and politics as factors in Chicago riots, lynching in Omaha, 9 killed in fight with Arkansas police, plotters behind the plots, the Negro in Chicago, a study of race relations and a race riot. Oh. So hopefully when we get back to our other books, we will have some gleaming of understanding, because this is really deep. Maybe we should have started out spelling, huh? But I really appreciate your presence and your patience tonight. And last night when we ended, I was looking at some of the comments, and one of the sisters was talking about Clody, the ship. And I don't know, I found the diary of Clody, a slave girl. So we're going to read this at some time too. But I really just appreciate you, family, Black America. We've come so long. We've been on a long ass, torturous, journey. And I feel like now we'll finally, hopefully, we can get some healing. Because all I want, is healing. I know we building. I hope that ain't no drone outside my apartment. Where my bow and arrow at? I'm just joking. No, that's a helicopter, I guess, or airplane. But I know we're building. I know Black America, we're building, and we are trying to, get back on track. We're trying to build, we're trying to leave a legacy. We're back to building our empires and becoming more self-sufficient, so we can be financially free, personal freedom, self-sustaining. We want all of those things, and we will get all of those things. But here at Bolden Unchained, we truly believe that Black America must heal. We must heal. If we don't heal, it's almost like any success, any achievement that we do achieve, it may not be permanent. Because until we heal, we always going to have that even that small modicum of self-hate, self-doubt, and not to mention, build up your empire if you want to, Black America. Build it up. Build our Black Wall Streets up again and see how long is it going to take. See, we can't take that risk again. We can't take that risk of where we building us up again, and we repairing us. And, we still not going to be healed. We need our healing. We need our healing because only with our healing will we unite. We're not gonna come together in all of this hurt and this trauma. Some of us may come together in all of this hurt and this trauma, but for us to come together as a people, as a collective, we're gonna have to deal with our self-hate. We got to get to the root of it. so we can get rid of our self-hate, because we don't hate each other. We are not each other's open enemy. We are not each other's natural enemy. We've been brainwashed. We've been indoctrinated. Where is that paper? And I don't know where I put it, but y'all seen it. And it's more than this. We're too broken as a people to not get the healing that we need. And I'm not talking about, we got to heal between us, this black on black crime. I know it's white on white crime and Indian on Indian crime. Everybody got crime on everybody. People got crime in their communities, within themselves. We do too. And, I don't know, as for them people, they possibly need to, address the situation, because we're going to address ours. We're going to address our self-hate, our crime on each other. Because we'll never really get rid of it. No one will. Crime is a part of life, but to have excessive crime, unnecessary crime, just excessive crime, epidemic of crime. And it ain't that, people are hungry trying to feed their families and stuff. We are traumatized. We're traumatized. We restless mentally. We so mentally restless. Physically, spiritually, emotionally, we zap. Got nothing. Because white America done broke us. White America, when will we realize that damn white America fucked us up? When we literally done. When we literally done. When we got 200,000 people left, then we'll be like, oh, white America fucked us up. Face was right all along. Our ancestors was right all along. Then we'll be calling on everybody that said it in the past. They were trying to tell us, like we be saying our ancestors were trying to tell us, Malcolm told us, Martin told us. So in the future and stuff, they're going to be like, our future generation going to be like, Face was trying to tell us. Runaway Slave was trying to tell us, Taylor House Publishing was trying to tell us, go check them channels out. But we didn't listen. So, let's just be open to decide. And ain't nobody going to be mad at you if you decide, you want to be on the other side. Take your ass on over there. Just don't be taking up space here. That's all Face got to say. Shit gone. So, yeah, Black America, just decide whose side you on. Can't be on both. And I don't know about y'all, but I know I'm sleeping. I will see y'all tomorrow at lunchtime. Yeah. And, tomorrow at lunch we'll be studying about some more heroes and stuff. I have one other book on our heroes and sheroes, and I'll try to find that so when we're done with this, we can get to it. Because we also will be reading some of Claude Anderson's, some of his Black Secrets, America's Secrets and stuff, We got a lot of reading that we really need to do all across the board. I'm not sure how the curriculum is going to be. I ain't even wrote out a curriculum. I haven't even wrote out a curriculum. That's just said, just get the book. And I got the book. That was it. And we started. Yeah. As soon as I crossed the threshold, they dropped me. Yep, as soon as I cross the threshold, don't sit down, don't get a drink of water, don't use the bathroom, don't wash your hands, don't fix your hair, nothing. Get a book and read. So that's what we did. So we don't have any curriculum, but we started in the era of slavery. And we just going to take it from there. We'll grow as we go. Yeah. Oh, my family, look at you. Wow, good day, family. And I wish all of y'all a wonderful evening, too. I love y'all. I love us. Our ancestors are so happy that we are talking about them. We are willing, to dialogue about them, to remember them. That's all they want. That's all they've ever wanted. And we just forget them like they really didn't give us the greatest. Like they really didn't sacrifice the ultimate for us. And they did. I know we've been indoctrinated and stuff. I try to keep that in mind. That it's going to be hard. But, you ain't got to give up your hope. I'm not saying that we got to give up our hope and stuff. Keep all your hope. Just add your ancestors to it. Yeah, let's just add our ancestors to it. That's all they want. They don't want us to let go of nothing else. If it hurting us that much, keep it. Just add them to it. Because when we add the ancestors to it, that's when we'll experience the abundance and the prosperity. And that's when we can let all the other little shit go. I ain't saying nothing against your hope and stuff, but, just add to it, family. And I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace and power to the people. Oh, I know, right? We need our reparations. And some of us, they owe us 2 checks. So, white America, that's one thing you can do. Tell your people to repent and repay. Yeah. Peace and power to the people.